Hey, and it's another B2B R&D Blab. And we're talking today about digital marketing insights and updates, but it's really just a chat for other marketing professionals, and we are welcoming one already.
Hey, guys.
Hey, good morning.
He's outside enjoying the nice weather.
Oh, yes, I am. Do you like this is my backyard, by the way. So
Perfect.
All right, I'll be over shortly to play in the playground.
So it's cool. How you guys doing?
Good. Good.
Very well.
Good.
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 See, I
I think
we
so
lost
too.
him.
I think so too.
Yeah. Oh, we lost him. That's the thing about internet.
He'll be in and out. Juan, if he's able to reconnect, another good marketer that we know personally. So it's been really interesting seeing people we know personally join us online for digital conversations, as well as the sometimes in-person conversation we get to have.
Absolutely. And to me, not being local to both you and Juan, it's nice to be able to have that face-to-face. You know, we had some issues with Steve Wilson, I guess, another friend of ours, a week or two ago when, you know, we couldn't get him to come on. But it's still nice to be able to reconnect with people in a forum that's both personal and professional.
I'm going to refresh.
Yeah,
no, I did.
Out. Oh, okay. While we wait for Ellen to come back, there she is.
Great. So,
see, you know, you gotta love the technology. You know, look, I give props to Blab for coming on so strongly and really with such a solid platform, despite any issues that have come up lately.
Yeah, well, you know, they're still brand new. So, you know, how do you?
Yeah.
So maybe we start with a conversation about Blab itself. I mean, that's certainly some of the newer digital marketing tools.
Absolutely. And you know, it's interesting in our weekly research. He moved indoors.
I moved indoor, guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You need to turn a light on, Juan. You will scare people off.
Hold on.
You will. I remember once I was taking an online class, and one of the, you know, we did a lot of face-to-face like this, old school, I'll call it, you know, Skype, old school. And one of my fellow students just, for whatever reason, refused to turn a light on in the room that he was, and it looked like Juan did just now. It was just a voice in the darkness, very disconcerting for everyone involved.
So welcome back, Juan.
I
mean, the conversation today is sort of open to digital marketing. Have you used Blab in the past?
Yes, I have, and it's great. I love it, you know, and it's always nice to put something that, for example, like what is SEO? I did a chat room of what is SEO, and I got a lot of people, and I met a lot of interesting people. Like I met a gentleman from England, Australia. You meet all over the world, worldwide, talking about a subject, you know. And my subject, I love talking about SEO, so it was great, you know. And then we got a lot of people who asked questions who were novice, and it was nice that we were able to help them out, you know. So it's a great form of advertising, and, you know, helping your business as well, and also helping others.
Yeah, I agree as well. It's definitely an interesting platform for all experts of different kinds to get their message out, but also to, you know, have other people have their ear and be able to offer advice on the various things that the experts are. So I think it's an interesting place, certainly for thought leadership, but also for communicating, especially like you said, to newbies, people who come on to really want to learn, and now you have access to people that you may not have. I mean, Twitter's great for that too, but being able to do that in person and a live conversation is just a whole nother experience.
Right. I just told the little bird, so let's see how we get more people on this chat.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
What I sort of enjoy about this is not just the ability to connect with the experts, whoever they may be, but it's the fact that you get to connect with them on two different levels now. I'm finding a lot of the blabs that I'm either just watching, there's a mixture of the personal and the professional, which it's sort of, although some people don't like that, the dog barking, the kid in the background, whatever. But it's sort of, I think it's that extra touch that allows you to connect with somebody on different levels, even beyond Twitter and Facebook and all the others.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a platform to be professional in a more personal setting.
Right. I like that. I like that. You could be professional in a more personal setting. Because you'll notice all three of us, experts in our own fields, we're all working, we're all in offices, and I believe, I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I believe, Juan, that's your home office. Is that correct?
It's a mess. I have a little mess.
Yeah.
I see the sign. It's a little bit crooked, my little citation.
Yeah.
I feel like let me go fix it a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that. I'm just noticing my closet is open behind me, which is now going to bother me.
Yeah. I got nothing. Yeah. I got nothing.
No. And I even had worked on, cleaning up my shelves a bit so they don't look bad, and then I left the closet open.
If I show you, I don't even want to show you my front desk. I have like stacks and stacks of business cards, like these. I'll show you. See these?
Yeah.
Stacks. Look, I'll look at this. I'm not going to show you, but I'll just give you an idea. Look at that.
They do a lot of good like that, Juan. Really, that's the best way to get
Actually,
use out of
I'm going to ask, what do you wind up doing with them? Do you have systems that?
Yeah. So what I've used is Evernote, right? So the thing is that I was doing really good for a while. Like I would come from after networking event and just scan them. It will take me about 10 minutes, but after a while, you just like, oh, okay, I'll get to it later. Okay. I'll get to it later. But Evernote, I think, is the best way to use the scanning tool, and because it links up with LinkedIn, and immediately. So, but then I have them just because I have a pile here because I know that it's already scanned and just backup copy just in case. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm really saving it for a rainy day or something like that. But I got them all on, Evernote here. So.
And then what's the next step? What do you do once you've got them all in? Is there a system? Do you have digital marketing? Is there automation to it or follow-up?
Well, with Evernote that once you scan it in, it asks you if you want to connect, first of all, with LinkedIn, which I do, and then it automatically sends an email to, say, it was nice seeing you, an auto-generated email that, I have said it was nice meeting you at the show, blah, 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 blah. It's already automatically, and it goes to their email. So now when they respond back, some of them do. For the most part, I would say more than 50% do. They respond back. And, now you capture their emails on my, Google. I use Gmail, obviously. So once that, it holds in by my contacts. So I'm able to, but that's where I take it. I don't follow through after that. That's pretty much it. Believe it or not, Ellen, I'm still with Constant Contact. I have a free account and have not used it yet.
You gotta get that up and running. Email marketing is still some of the most powerful stuff out there.
You know what? I am so freaking busy. You know what I mean? That it's like, it's one of those things. It's like if you're busy, then it's like, you know what I mean? It's like I know you guys are saying about marketing, and I know I should do it. It's like, like the doctor, right? You shouldn't, you listen to your practice, but you don't do it. Like, sometimes I'm sure we all do that. I mean, that we all have our own, the doctors. I would say the doctors are notorious. Oh, you should lose weight, but the doctor's like, 50 pounds overweight, or he smokes. You should stop smoking, and then you see him puff it outside. So they do a lot of things that they don't follow. You know what I mean?
But, one of my favorite expressions lately is do as I, don't do as I do as I say. I tell you to do this. But really, if we can't be like that, we are, if you're the expert in your field, you need to be out there doing what the experts need to be doing.
Absolutely.
Don't you think? So the fact that, and I think at some point we're all guilty of I don't have time to market myself, I'm too busy. But it's the marketing today that makes you continually stay busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't market today, a month from now, you may be so busy. But here's the thing. You're sitting with us right now.
Yep. Right now.
Right now.
I'm going to get it.
No. But my point is, you're sitting with us, so you weren't too busy to do this.
I feel like this is intervention.
It is.
Mark, you should be marketing. But I agree with Fred.
Yeah, this is
sorry, guys. I am so sorry.
Some baseline level, something that's continuous, even if it's not something that takes a lot of time. So
you're right.
Time's an issue for everyone, especially small business owners, from everything from marketing to sales to, just running their business and everything that goes with it. So
with
the advantage of doing something is better than doing nothing, right?
So with that said, is there anything you guys, one of my biggest things that I procrastinate a lot is, and I hate doing it, and it's one of those necessary things about my business is doing proposals, right? So it's like, a proposal, I'm like running late on a proposal, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do proposals. Is there anything that you guys have that, kind of like any issues with that in your marketing world, I would say? That you have, like, it's like one of those things that is a necessary evil or part of a job that you have to do.
Yeah. I think it is one of those things that are a necessary evil there. We don't, our business now, we don't currently do proposals, but my, several iterations ago, my business, you have that Word template and you do the search all, replace all, and then there are certain paragraphs, will be boilerplate. I'm never changing this paragraph because it's about the way I work or the agreement and what they bring to the table. But then there are other elements, that you have to modify. It's definitely a hurdle, and it's one of those. Talk about procrastinating. I think you are in good company there, Juan. It's definitely one of those things no one really relishes getting done.
And then doing analysis reports as well. It's just take a lot of time. We do that also for SEO. In marketing, we have to do an analysis and research, which actually is not too bad. Actually, I enjoy that. It's one of my things I enjoy. Doing research, but putting the proposals together, or the analysis together. That's like I don't enjoy that at all. I enjoy the research more than putting everything together.
Yeah, I think we're with you on that one.
Yeah. There's no question. I completely agree.
There's fun stuff in a business, and then there's the admin stuff you have to do in a business. And until you're big enough to start delegating all that, they're all on your plate.
But even when you're big enough and you start to delegate that, are you still fully delegating it? Because it's still your name on it. So you're still, for you, Juan, you're still going to take the time and review and edit. And so there's still, I don't think it's a part of the business you ever lose. It's sort of like billing your clients. Who likes to sit there and enter the invoices and take the time and create them and print them or email them? It's just,
and I agree. You always have your hands on it, but you can certainly bring the amount of time that you have to put down to a minimum.
I go back to Evernote. I need more of these Evernotes to simplify my job because what I mean.
Apps to do the work for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you know what? There are billing apps. The proposal is not something that I think can be, for you especially, Juan, where you have to actually do a lot of research for clients. I don't know that you can. Appify, and I don't think that's a word I made up, but
so So I just want to curious, what made you decide to, start this whole thing, which is the digital market insights and updates? What was the purpose of this, or what did you guys have in mind?
I think we had in mind to bring all levels of business owners together, those that are experts in marketing and those that need assistance with marketing, to really have an open dialogue about what's up with digital marketing, tap into some insights and talk about what's new and what's going on.
Right. Clearly, I need help on digital marketing, email marketing. No, that's great.
Email marketing can be really, really powerful. In fact, I was just yesterday there.
Yes.
It was IBM and Silverpop have a report that shows transactional. I say that wrong. Transactional emails get like a crazy open rate. So it's got to be the right list and valuable, but when there's something in there that's a true call to action that resonates, the open rate is crazy high, like 45% of an open rate, which is substantially higher than most.
I'm trying to find I have our email up here, so I'm trying to find it, a quick scan, so I apologize for looking away.
Yeah,
I don't see it on a quick
definitely scan. It's a big percentage. It outweighs everything else
the average
substantially.
open rate is usually what, 20%? Is that right? Or I mean,
I think the average depends on the industry.
It does, but across most industries, it's somewhere between 20 and 30 is an average. Yep.
And for instance, there are some providers who've actually surveyed and released tools about follow-up email. And I had actually talked to, I don't remember what client it was, 2 years ago, about setting up an automatic way, although it's more manual for what he's doing. So he'd send out an email on, let's say, Sunday, and he would send the same email again with a bit different subject line during the week to the people who didn't open it. And he was seeing open rates combined, 50 to 60%, because he was doing these follow-up emails. And I think it was Vertical Response who actually found that this is, a 30 to 50% increase when people do these follow-up emails for their did not open lists.
Yeah. Certainly the time of the day and the day of the week could be a factor. If I didn't open it because you sent it on Monday and I'm too busy on Monday and you resend it to me on Wednesday with a different subject line, it doesn't look like the same email. And so maybe Wednesday is better for me. I think you need to be careful sending the same email, verbatim to someone that your system shows as not open, because the way systems identify opens, you're going to get a couple,
you're right,
false readings there. So I was always tentative to resend the same email, even though it looked like someone hadn't opened it.
You're absolutely right. There's the issue with the I'll call it a conversion pixel, the open pixel. People who use something like Outlook, and Outlook by default has their images turned off. So I could open an email 12 times, and if the images are off, for instance, Constant Contact won't know that you opened it. They'll have no idea.
Right, unless you click on something, right? So the two elements of tracking an open for an email is that something was downloaded, such as an image, or you clicked on something, you took some sort of action within the email. Right. Any kind of interaction shows an open. So, the opposite is true then. Say I have my Outlook set to automatically open images. So I'm just scrolling through and the email comes in, the image opens, and I haven't read it, and I will keep going, and now there's a false positive. So nothing's perfect, right, in the digital world. But the overall averages out, and we're really talking a handful of the false positives and false negatives.
Sure.
But that's what leads me to follow up with those who didn't open is great, but to send the exact same email, there's statistics that it works, but I would tread lightly.
I completely understand. I do, and it all depends on the results and the response that the client is getting. the person is getting. If it's working for them, they're going to keep doing it.
Right. And then their list really just isn't noticing.
Right. Which to me would mean the first send is obviously a problem.
And you may want to reconsider the time and day you're sending the first one if you're getting a bigger pop when you resend.
Yeah, I have a question.
And then you also have the issue of frequency.
Right.
So if I'm the one who doesn't open on Sunday, but I always open on Wednesday, why are you sending it to me twice in the same week?
There's that.
You know, make a different list. Make a Sunday list and a Wednesday list. Right? I didn't sign up for twice a week.
No, that's true.
I was going to ask you for another thing. I got a question. It's the opt-in, right? And I asked this question: what way is it a good way to get people to opt into your emails? Or like I know that you can use your website. You can have a opt-in, sign up for your newsletter, a call to action button. I know I've heard other stories about like putting a fishbowl. If you have a storefront, putting a fishbowl, put your business cards in there. What other ways or incentives that you guys think that people can opt into an email?
There's a myriad.
Any way you can.
Yeah, it's such a loaded question.
So a couple other options. Are you can text to join, so you can really bring the entry to the barrier to entry down very low. You can also do Facebook, right? The Facebook apps for Facebook.
I was at a restaurant last night, a public house in New York City, and they have free Wi-Fi. But get this: in order to use their free Wi-Fi, you must put in your email address and opt into their newsletters. I thought that was very clever.
Yeah. Something for something.
No, I know, but I was like, that's freaking cool. And it prompted me to a window that, you want to use our Wi-Fi, you need to sign up with your email.
Did you find the Wi-Fi valuable enough to do that?
Like, I was on my iPhone, and obviously I didn't want to use my data plan, because number one, it's slow. Number two, it costs money for me to use my data plan. So, pop in the Wi-Fi, you save my battery life too. The phone works a lot more when it's using data, whereas opposed to Wi-Fi, it uses less of your battery.
So I would say there's a key there, right? You're offering something of value in exchange for the email. So some of the things you came up with were, the form on the website and, being at a trade show or an expo where you drop the bowl, or even restaurants where you can drop a bowl. But if there's something in exchange for your email address, join our mailing list and you'll get, it could be a download, it could be a recipe, it could be, something of value. And I think that's a good motivator for people to sign up.
I think that's the motivator you need to use for anything you ask. I'm not a big fan of just the, like us on Facebook. No, give me a reason why to connect with you on Facebook. Am I going to get different coupons, different offers, different downloads? Why should I follow you on Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest, wherever? There needs to be that reason, because I think people in general have that what's in it for me attitude. You want my email address, absolutely. I want something in return. Now, Juan, you're talking about you had no problem at the public house using their Wi-Fi. I probably would think twice. I would say, you know what, I'm here for dinner. I don't want your email. I'll use my cellular data. I won't jump on your Wi-Fi. So I think there's for the user, it's a cost benefit.
I gave them my junk mail email.
I
didn't give them my personal email. I gave them my junk mail email, which is I have a separate email for spam.
See, I don't.
And how many people do?
Yeah,
right? Tons of people. So now you've got that balance. Okay, I'm offering something that I think is valuable. People are seeing it as valuable, such as the Wi-Fi. I'm going to ask for you to connect with me so I can stay in touch. And yet I'm reaching out to an email address that may never get checked. And many of us do that. So you have as someone wanting to send email, you have that hurdle to overcome too, where you think you've made the connection because you came to the location, you thought what I had to offer was valuable, but now I can't stay in touch with you. And that may be why you can also say, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and maybe I'd be more apt to do those things, even if there isn't necessarily an obvious why from the very beginning. At least it's a way to stay in touch. And I think that's the bigger why. No matter what you offer me, if I'm not interested in really staying in touch, that value isn't going to overcome. As Craig just said, I didn't want to give my email address out because I don't want to hear from you again. But for those that we do, we're more apt to open that line of communication, whether it be via email or any other,
and I see
Craig
digital avenue.
Carpenter
is, what is I'm sorry, it keeps on moving the chat over there. It says what
he had asked what if they offered a discount coupon for your email address and the Wi-Fi, and that I would think twice about. If I'm sitting there and I'm going to get 5% off my coffee, that's a little lean. But if they're going to give me 10% off my dinner check or whatever, there's a good chance they're going to get my email. Yeah. Yep. In fact, I was just at a restaurant. A restaurant by me right on the water, and I'd never been there before. My wife and I went, midday. It was last Saturday or Sunday. And we were just going to sit by the water, and we loved the food. They had a thing on their, join our club for 10% off your meal that day. And because we had such a great experience, you got my info right away. In fact, they offered the 10% and I forgot to use it. So, but that's how great the experience was. You got my contact info, you got my email, my home address. They have everything. They could come, to my home and stalk me, which is fine. Yeah, they're welcome. But I didn't even use the coupon. So for a business to offer that, hey, here's our Wi-Fi, give us your email address, we'll give you 10% off. What's the likelihood people will remember between the beginning and the end of the meal to redeem that coupon? So it may not even cost them anything.
Well, here's the key. We'll email you, the coupon. So it's not necessarily a coupon you're going to use right now because you're already there, but the email comes and you get to come back and use the coupon. And now we're talking everything we've talked about, right? Building the list, offering value, and a transactional email will get opened. And when you start developing that communication and that relationship, it'll be expected. And so the next email is going to be, anticipated, right?
Sure.
I got something good in your last email. What are you going to give me in your new email? That continues that conversation and develops that relationship. And then you can move into, like us on Facebook, and get something different, get updates on, we tend to be talking about restaurants right now, but, get updates on our specials or, things like that. So now you go back to the why. But it really is just developing that relationship, and it happens via email, and it happens, on social media and other avenues as well. But the value of email is the feel of that one-on-one, right? It's in my inbox. It's not in my news feed. So when you're talking to me in my inbox, it's private. It's me and you, even though it went to thousands of people, versus the message being in my news feed where, it's you to me, but it's you to me and everyone else. And like this, I know that's not private. And that's, a different way to nurture the relationship. But I think that's where email has its power, because it really does feel very nurturing when the email shows up and says, hello, Ellen, thank you for, communicating with us or patronizing us. Here's, something for you.
And you could even get more personal and, God forbid, segment your list. So when you sign up, do you want to hear about the dinner specials, the lunch specials, the music groups we have playing for a restaurant, whatever that is? One of my biggest complaints about email was Old Navy, and I use this example a lot. I have two boys. I signed up for the Old Navy email because when you pay, they say, can we have your email address for coupons? I gave it to them, my actual email address. I don't have a spam one. And I started getting daily email for girls' clothes. I don't have girls. Then within a week, I unsubscribed. Had they asked me or taken an interest in what I was buying, because they saw it was all boy clothes, that maybe had they segmented the list, I'd still be on it. So that's that one extra personal one-to-one interest in your customer.
Yep. Yeah, and that's for any type of business. So Juan, if we go back to your business, you've got SEO, you're doing web design. I mean, I know they're they're pretty much, they're similar businesses, but I suspect you probably have clients that already have their website up and running and just need it to be, better optimized. So you might not have designed it from scratch. But you have those kinds of different types of customers, and you would have those different types of communications, and they might overlap because the people on your list certainly know other people. So I may be your SEO client, and you're communicating to me, changes in SEO and what that may mean to my business. And then maybe somewhere in there, you mentioned the fact that you do the web design services because, I didn't realize that. You've never done that for me. I can recommend you, and vice versa. When you're able to sort of understand who's on your list and the best way to communicate to them, then you can sprinkle in the other things you have to offer to broaden their knowledge.
You're right,
of your
because
business.
it's that old saying, it's out of sight, out of mind. So clients that I did a website 2 years ago, guess what? Their website needs to be updated, and the average lifespan of a website is design or look or feel is 2 years, right? After 2 years, you should technically redesign or redo your website every couple of years or so. So I mean, I've had clients probably that I haven't spoken to about 5 years, so. And it's probably time to update their website.
But had you been communicating with them on a consistent? I know this sounds like an intervention for poor Juan. He's going to go and cry for the day.
Email.
Had you been communicating with them on a regular monthly basis, even, and push it even quarterly, God forbid, they would have known that you do website, you do SEO, reputation management, and all the other services. And they would see that there was an article that you shared last month about how your website should be updated. And then you've got a database. Your clients. They should be getting personal email from you that says, hey, we got to update.
My client, I got to go. All right, bye-bye.
Take care, Juan.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
so that's key also, right? Frequency and even those customers that you think, as he said, the website's done. They're not going to need a new website, but you want to, potentially cross-sell, upsell through your marketing, that fine line between marketing and sales, and you can have that call to action, and throw in advertising too. They're all in the same bucket now, especially with all the changes going on in digital marketing and the tools that are available, and you can soon you'll be creating e-commerce shops on Facebook and the buy now buttons and things like that. But you still have to have that relationship. You still have to develop that before people come and click that button. And the continual conversation via email is a great way to do that.
People do business, and we say this probably every time we do this. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. I say it at every seminar. And there's just no two ways about it. And if I did business with you, it was because I liked you, because I trusted you. And if you drop off the face of the earth because you did my website and that's it was like, I'm out, I'm going to find somebody else maybe when the redesign comes up, because you're not in front of me on a weekly basis. Great story on email marketing, and we've been talking a lot about that today, is that my wife, as an educational consultant, sends out a newsletter to her audience on a monthly basis. And one of her school districts that they had seen her present somewhere, never hired her, But sort of, she was always in the back of their mind, they said, because they would get the email every month and they'd say, you know what, we really need to do this. It would fall off their radar. Every month, they finally hired her. They said, you know what, you're sending us an email every month. This is a sign. We need to do it. And it was just that. It wasn't sales. It was helpful. It was information they needed to keep current, whatever. And it just that the consistency of the information is what caused them to hire her. And I know.
And the value.
And the value, yes. Consistency, value, personalization, it's all important. I've seen tons of articles that, you know, my favorite catch-all headline, email is dead.
Yeah.
It makes my skin crawl. It really does.
I think those have passed. I really do. I think there's a lot. Certainly this week, last week there were a lot of headlines about emails and strength of email and the best way to do it and subject lines and new functionality and features coming out. So I don't know if it's the time of year because people are starting to, you know, as the end of the year approaches, there are a lot of things that prompt marketing from, you know, end of the year budgets, holidays, you know, sales. So I don't know if that's like strategic. I'll have to research that. Yeah. But certainly, you know, starting now to develop those conversations so that when people are ready to buy, and that's truly the only time that they do is when they're ready, hopefully you're the one who has given them enough information to make an educated decision and enough of a relationship that they trust you to buy from you. Yeah.
And the thought just went out of my head. That's what I love. So you all get to see the
That's great
thought.
for a video chat. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, well, you know, everybody gets to see the thought jump right out of my head. Did you see it? It just playing with the Lego over there.
So we're chatting about, you know, digital marketing in general, though the topic seems to have migrated to email marketing, which, you know, is an old standard. It's been around for a long time, certainly longer than social media. It definitely had a phase there where everyone thought it was dead, and obviously it's not. And I think part of it is that personalization. You know, as much as I'm communicating on social media, when I'm looking at my inbox, you know, it's that one-on-one feel.
Yep. It's a direct line to your potential audience because we're checking email everywhere. And there, I actually even saw a study, and we haven't discussed it. It's that we're checking email in the most intimate moments of our day when we're using the facilities. Yep. So you've got that direct line of communication to us 24/7 almost.
24/7. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So how do you integrate email with, you know, some of the other digital marketing strategies? Because there's just tons of ways, including, you know, Blab and other streaming video. And so what's sort of the secret sauce for getting all that to work together, the multi-channel stuff?
There is, I don't see a secret sauce. I see a combination of things. And I know this is your favorite phrase. It depends on your industry, on your audience. There are plenty of people who don't want email but have no problem connecting with you on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. So we'll cross-pollinate those actually could harm you. I don't want to see your email newsletter on Facebook. I want to see that more personal conversation that you've got going on. So I think it's a very fine line for companies on how they communicate. Best way to find out is to ask. Poll your audience. If you have an email list, ask them where their favorite place to connect is. Ask the same question on Facebook and Twitter. Use a survey. But for those companies that are cross-pollinating, to my knowledge, 90% of the email providers have a tool that enable you to post your email newsletters to social. So if I send out an email newsletter to my database, I can send it to Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So that way I can connect with that audience on a different level. I think it's an important tool. I do.
It's a useful tool. I agree, but you made an interesting comment that I don't want to see your email on Facebook.
Right.
And so each of the different platforms, including email, is a different type of conversation. The content, even though the root of the content can be similar, you're not going to have verbatim across all those platforms because you need to communicate in a way that those platforms lend themselves to.
I agree.
So the conversation on LinkedIn is going to be very business oriented, but the conversation on Facebook can have, as you mentioned here at Blab, we're having a professional conversations while we're all sitting in our home or home offices. So there's that blend of personal and professional, which you're going to see less at on LinkedIn. And then, Twitter is heavy text and images becoming more popular, but then you have Instagram and Pinterest that are almost exclusively images. So the way in which you communicate across all of them needs to be unique and specific to those platforms and what everyone expects, even if like I said, the root of the content becomes very similar.
I agree. And in fact, I think one of the worst things that people were doing when Twitter was coming up and Facebook, and we started using it for marketing, is they would connect their accounts. Their Facebook and Twitter accounts would be connected. So everything they tweeted would show up on Facebook, everything they Facebooked would show up on Twitter. It was probably the worst thing ever, because especially back then, hashtags were not a Facebook thing. They're still really not. People there don't get it.
In a different way.
Yeah. So you'd see at, Ellen Williams, hey, check out this hashtag video, and people on Facebook have no clue. And the Facebook posts being more than 140 characters, it would say, it would just have 3 dots and a link back to the Facebook post on Twitter. There was no point in that. That was incredibly lazy and detrimental.
That was certainly the onset of automation, right? You do, and time saving. Do it one place and have it go everywhere. So it was really well received from the people using it. Oh, I can be everywhere at once. But I think it was quick to go by the wayside because that wasn't really the right way to automate it. I don't want to see your Twitter posts on LinkedIn or any other platform. Like you said, it didn't make sense. And it came off, to me at least, it came off lazy.
I agree.
That you weren't really developing relationships. You were just posting. And I think social media started there. It was all push. It was broadcast. It was all of a sudden I have a voice. I can have an opinion and I can send it out there to the masses like any other news media, right? Social media. And I think, we're still in that what does it really mean? So you've got places like HubSpot that came out. I'm sorry, Hootsuite. I'm sure HubSpot does it too, where you have the ability to create posts across all platforms in one place.
Sure.
So you have that time-saving element, but you can still be unique and relational to the people in each of those platforms. And as technology continues to evolve, and now you've got programmatic and you've got, marketing automation, and maybe marketers will embrace CRM a little more than salespeople did. We've got the hurdle all over again, and it's interesting to see the development, and some people latch on and think it's great only to find out, down the line, not so great. So the jury's out. I'm still, programmatic, I'm still a little nervous about it because I think it'll going too far, it'll remove the human element, and that's where the relationships are.
I do agree with that, and I think that's where automation has a detrimental side, removing that human element. I have no problems with companies and scheduling posts in advance because you have to sometimes. I get that. But if you schedule and forget, it won't work. You need to schedule and then monitor.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. Hey, Craig.
How are you, Craig? See how many Craigs
Welcome.
we can get in this chat.
We need one more, and it's the most Craigs I've ever had.
50% now. We just need that one more. It's nice to meet you guys.
Same
I've just
here.
been listening for a while.
Yeah,
this is definitely kind of up my alley. You're talking about automation and digital marketing, all this stuff, branding, and I really liked what you said about the email list of, we were talking about the restaurants and things like that. It's a really great conversation. So I've enjoyed listening in.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. So what digital marketing insights do you have to share with us? I'm in the image space,
and I'm creating a graphics automation tool that basically you add your branding to it and it propagates your images throughout all platforms. So I'm kind of in the thick of automation and productivity and trying to figure all that out. So that's the first thing I'm in. And then the second thing I'm trying to figure out is how can I make myself productive? Because I'm wearing like 20 hats right now as a startup and trying to figure out what tools I can use to make myself more productive.
Yeah, we had someone earlier talking about that, the running of the business and how to get it all done and procrastination.
Yeah, one of the questions I have specifically is I've been thinking about a lot of my brand positioning because there's a lot of design automation tools out there to make people, well, I won't say automation tools, but there's a lot of design tools out there. And I'm really interested in how I can separate myself from the current design tools. So I have things like built-in SEO. I'm trying to make my tool feel a little bit more B2B as opposed to inspirational quotes. So I'd love your thoughts on where you see these big imaging platforms and how I can make my tool and my brand message feel a little bit more like something that converts versus, hey, let's just throw up some images. So I guess I'm just kind of trying to get some feedback from people of how I can fine tune my message. And what you see in the space right now as well.
That's a huge tall order for right now. Wow. So who are the competitors that you have? I can think of a couple, but I may be in the wrong
Canva
space.
Is the biggest one that everybody asks me, how are you different than Canva? I thought PicMonkey was a little bit more in the forefront, but I don't even hear people mentioning that much anymore. And then there's a lot of mobile apps, but I think the mobile apps are in a totally different space. So I would say the biggest one right now is Canva, in the sense that we're doing a similar thing of creating graphics for platforms and businesses and things like that.
Now, Canva, I've used Canva. I actually like the tool. I like Guy Kawasaki a lot too. So, it's got that sort of going for it. But that's a very manual tool for the most part. I go to Canva, I have to either upload a design or look at they're free or they're paid. How do you differ? You asked how you get that message out there. The question is, how do you
I have like 6 or 7 features that are different. And I guess what I'm trying to do is define what the space needs right now, what's the pain point beyond just, hey, I'm going to create some graphics and learn how to design. I'm more on the side of the productivity and automation of it. So, for example, when you add content into the app that I have, when you create one graphic, all 200 graphics that I currently have in the library are created as well. So when you add your logo, that logo shows up everywhere else. So that's the biggest difference right away. The second thing I had mentioned was the SEO. Every time you export an image, it tags, you can enter 30 keywords that you want to rank for, and it tags those images with those keywords to help you rank for your niche. So you could locally, I'm in Boston, for example, if I wanted to rank for Boston photographer, waterfront, or a hotel or something, or a restaurant like what you guys were talking about, you can do that as well. And then the last thing that I'm trying to just talk about maybe a couple of these, but the last thing is that you can bulk process images. Excuse me. You can actually upload a CSV file, and it's something we're going to be launching here very soon, where you pick a layout, and if you have 100 quotes from a book that you're launching, or if you have a conference that you're going to and you want to highlight those attendees, you automatically upload that content and it'll batch or bulk process all those things. So for me, I'm becoming very clear about the fact that I want it to be a productivity tool for businesses versus a B2C. And I'm just kind of trying out my messaging, and I'm not in this, I've only been around for about a year in internet marketing space. So I'm a very traditional, more of a designer before this and a photographer. So I'm really trying to connect with people and understand how to speak this language to people that are on the other side of this, if that helps at all.
I think the language you need to use is simplistic. Don't go up, don't go down. Explain it to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but really, in the end, the language we're using today won't exist in 2 years. So explain what it does. Just, do you do this? Are you going to make my job easier by this? That's what I want to know. I do not care. For me, the SEO aspect of it, great. You're no interest. I need to know how it's going to make my job easier right this minute. You know, for instance, and this may, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Canva has their new Canva at Work system where you can create I don't know much about it, I've never used it, like a branding profile, just like you're saying. I think theirs may be a little bit more difficult than what you're explaining, but explain it to me in simple terms. I upload once and it goes everywhere. I get that.
Yeah, a lot of what I've been having problems with is I speak in features. So I'm trying to get better at speaking in that language you're talking about. So that's really helpful.
Like Sam had said on the side here, speak in terms of benefits. Exactly. We had talked to the email marketing. What's in it for me? Speak in what's in it for me.
So would it be better to say, instead of talking about the SEO, would it be better to say rank #1 against your competitors in Google image search or something like that? Is that better?
I think that would make
something
more sense.
understandable.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think I'd also take your expertise and knowledge, since you may be new to the space, but you're obviously not new to marketing.
Right.
And if you can make a product that's easy to use, first of all, and then helps with strategy a little. Do you have like suggestions? Do you have color schemes that will work well together? If you're considering posting content about X, then consider Y and Z, and don't just create one, create a series so that you start to brand and people start to expect this kind of imagery from you. So if there's a way to sort of help, like we use a CRM. And I was there yesterday playing with a new feature, and it immediately this silly little animation came up and said, hey, click over here and get some silly little thing. Click over here and get some additional. Yeah, like the old paperclip. Yeah, it wasn't quite
like Clippy.
But that kind of your talk, you can talk bigger picture. So if it's quote unquote just an image platform, then yes, now you've got some competition. But if it's a strategy to develop your image-based marketing, it comes because you have that SEO. So speak in terms that, I'll reiterate with Craig, absolutely. Speak in terms that resonate with me and tell me how I can benefit, but make sure it's easy for me to do, and then sort of walk me through the process.
I wrote that down. I wrote that down. You said a strategy for a digital marketing strategy. Okay.
Yeah, there's a website. They've been in transition. I like the owner. His name's Nathan Lotka, called Heyo. And when you upload, when you connect a website to their backend platform, it searches the website to check the color scheme. So that way, whatever you create within Heyo is the same color scheme. That kind of thing. If I upload my logo to you, your software should show me the color schemes that I'm using. And again, you're making it easy for me. I don't have to think about, okay, I know the hex code for the orange is this. The hex code for the black is this. We want to launch. We want to launch something called themes. And what we want to do is have, like, for example, if I want big and bold
maybe that means yellow and black and red or whatever that is. And we want to actually just allow people to click a button and it propagates the entire system, so that now you're marketing towards your colors as well as, you know, like if it's summertime or if it's Halloween, you just click Halloween and suddenly everything becomes Halloween making or something like that.
Yeah, and the, you know, the marketing to that is just, you know, simple image marketing. And Sam had said on the side here, get found, get more leads. Yep. Simple image
Craig,
marketing.
do you want to put your link up?
I appreciate that. I mean, and honestly, this is something that is probably the hardest for me, copywriting, communicating ideas efficiently. I know that I need to. I was thinking about Red Bull the other day, and the fact that Red Bull gives you wings, and their brand stands for extreme sports. So I'm trying to create an undesigned tool. I don't want to go down the path. I think there's some really great blogs out there and tools that help people design, if you will. I'm trying to kind of come up with this phrasing or copy that allows me to say, this is not a design tool, it is different. But I'm trying to, you know, figure that all out. So I really appreciate it. The software is called Relay. Yeah. It's RELAY, and it's at relaythat.com. And I'll throw that in the sidebar here.
You know, Apple's years ago was the Think Different, I think was their tag. So you're design different. Yeah. Design different. And you could send the royalty checks for that directly to me. PayPal.
I thought about that because there was a presentation where Steve Jobs, instead of, and I've been trying to get out of this feature space, instead of saying, hey, this iPod allows you to put 1,000 songs on it and you can play them, blah, blah, blah. He says just 1,000 songs in your pocket. So I'm trying to get to that messaging and figure that out. I appreciate the comments.
Yep.
Sidebar
Years
too.
ago, I had. Yep, it's that elevator pitch. So years ago, I had a business where I helped people with their software. You know, the things that they were doing in repetition and how the software can automate that. And I used to show up at networking events and go, you know, hey, you know, I do all this work on your software, and did you know Outlook did this? And you know, it was like the deer in the headlights. They had no clue what I was talking about, nor did they care. And it took about 9 months, and then finally I stood up and I said, you know, hi, I'm Ellen from, at the time it was Efficient Office Computing, and said, you know, we all know we need to use computers to run our businesses, but how many of us really got into business to sit in front of a computer? I can help you spend less time in front of your computer. And all of a sudden, bam, you know, they didn't care how I did it or what I was doing. All they knew was that I was going to deliver to them what they wanted. And I saw a big jump in business by just converting what I was offering into terms that made sense to them.
Yeah. Like Sam said, don't overthink. That's, you know, seriously, speak, you know, normal. I don't know how to, simple.
Well, you know, go back to the why, right?
Yeah.
Why did you start the business? You had a purpose. And then chances are that purpose was simple, and not to, you know, to degrade it, but we all have that one, like, this is what I want to do. And it should be a core, the passion, the why. And if it's simple enough,
my why is, you know, I want to help small businesses. I want them to leverage productivity. You know, I had been on the front of the webpage right now. It says the fastest, easiest way to create graphics. And I think I'm pivoting a little bit more towards, I wrote it down, visual marketing for productive people. So I'm trying to kind of get away from.
How about busy
That's good.
people?
I like that, actually.
Yeah, because busy and productive are different.
Well, I like to think that people want to be productive, but that's actually a better word. So I appreciate that.
Because everybody has time issues.
Yeah.
Everybody has time issues.
As we were talking through.
If you're going to communicate, I can get this done well and quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
And easy.
Yeah, those are definitely some of the
easy, quick
and easy, were the like fast and easy were the two words that I kind of had gone to, and then I started to realize, you know what, I don't want to compete head to head with design tools because, you know, I'm a startup and I just kind of I have a passion for this. I've been working on it quite a long time. And I just want that messaging to when someone hears it, they're like, that's me. I have to have it now. That's what I'm trying to get to. So I appreciate that. And,
Sure.
and it's really hard when you're in your own head, right? Like your head's down trying to make the thing. And then you're trying to figure out, well, who is this market for? And then you're like, well, everybody could use this. So you get excited. Then you're like, well, no, who am I really, like, who is my audience? So I'm kind of in that, I feel that I'm tightening down, but I still need a little bit more to go. So I really appreciate it.
Yep, the everybody market.
Yeah.
Who's your
Well,
market?
visual content in general. I mean, we have seen a monumental shift from text-based marketing to visual. So I feel like I'm right at an inflection point for this content. I think video maybe converts a little better in some cases, especially depending on who your audience is. But I'm kind of, this is my first stepping stone to other things that I'll release once I get some traction. But I really want my brand message, and not to get woo-woo about it, but I want my brand message to be really, I think that a lot of decisions that a company makes comes from defining that audience, and then you can make those, when forks come in the road, you're like, okay, should we use this image versus this image? Then it's easier. So I'm kind of in that thick of that right now. So I do appreciate the feedback.
Yep. So we're right about at the end of the hour. I'm going to leave you with something old school, truly. I was talking about this last night. The Coke versus New Coke, right? And the whole branding around that, and New Coke, and how everyone didn't like New Coke, and all of a sudden we had Classic Coke back, and they were asked, was this just a marketing ploy? Put New Coke out, not as good. Everyone loves Coke, and the answer was, if only we were that smart. Yeah. Right. If we really had, wow, what a great marketing campaign that would be. So the key to their success was the fact that they listened to their audience, and New Coke was not better. I don't want New Coke. I want old Coke. You couldn't call it old Coke, so they were clever with Classic, but still listening to the audience and understanding what they want and then reacting to them. And I think you're right in that everybody needs that visual, but you were also very clear on your market, the small business person, the busy small business person, the busy small B2B business person. I mean, you identified it through your conversation. So that's not everybody. That's and
I just learned that a couple of days ago, to be honest with you, because I was thinking like I wanted to be more B2C and have all these people because that market seems so huge. And then I started really thinking about it. It's like, well, they probably wouldn't invest in this. So now I'm starting to think it needs to be more B2B, and I'm still working all that out, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, to me, it's kind of like a Coke versus Pepsi thing too, to kind of go to your point. But I'm trying to come up and say I'm Sprite or something. I'm like totally. Like, if you want something totally different, this is it.
But that's okay, because I think we need Coke and Pepsi and Sprite. There's different audiences. All of these brands have. Well, specifically Coke and Pepsi, because Sprite, I think, is actually owned by
those are bad,
Coke.
Probably a bad example.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, but you need Coke and Pepsi. We need them both. So we need, you had meant we need Canva. We need you. They're two different tools, maybe for two different purposes.
I think so. Cool. Well, anything else? Like, I didn't want that to be just about that, but are you? I wanted to make sure, like, I understood. Were you guys kind of on this as co-host type thing? Talking to people.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, I wanted to ask, like, I followed you. I wanted to ask if you're going to be doing this again. I'd love to kind of follow you. This is definitely something that's right up my alley in terms of talking about this stuff. So I wanted to make sure I spread the word about this. I'll connect with you, and if I can, in return or as a thanks, if you ever want me to promote a show or promote a Blab, let me know. I can blast it out to my following if that would help at all.
Thank you.
That would be fantastic. And actually, we've got 3 more on the scheduled all digital marketing insights and updates, and really just trying to open the conversation about digital marketing. We're open. I mean, we do what B2B R&D does is research digital marketing as a market itself. So we're talking about, all aspects of it, and just really want to hear from other professional marketers or other businesses that need assistance with marketing. Let's just have an open conversation to see what kind of information comes to light.
And
yeah, I'd love to stay connected, and let me know, if you guys ever do a graphic show or anything like that. I'd love to jump in, and I've been doing it for 20 years. I've done 3D animation, motion graphics. This is just the first time I kind of doing something scalable, but if I can ever lend anything photography based or graphic based, just let me know, or if I can share the show, let me know. I'd love to stay connected with you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate
Fantastic.
it. That's terrific.
Cool, especially since you got the same name as me. So
yeah, no, exactly. We got to help each other out. I'm
cool.
Right there with you.
I'll get out of here and let you shut it down, or let other people in. I appreciate it.
All right, take care, Craig.
Nice to meet you, Craig.
Nice to meet you.
So we are going to wrap it up. It's my computer says 11:06. We started at 10. We are doing another similar session next week, same time, same place. I was going to do it, but I didn't.
Same back channel. Absolutely.
Same B2B time, B2B channel.
There you go. So
hopefully we'll see you, everyone who joined us today again, and we'll bring some new people to the table. If you're interested in chatting about digital marketing, please connect with us, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Take care. We'll see you around the Blab.
There you go.